Average startup cost for food truck. If you are looking to create a food truck business and you're wondering what are the average startup costs of getting a food truck business up and running, then in this video you'll want to watch from beginning to end, because I'm going to cover everything you need to know about what you need to get a food truck up and running and give you some rough averages of how much it's going to cost. Of course, that is something that can be dependent upon many factors, but we're going to go over the different insurances, the licenses, permits, and all the other features you need on your food truck, and we're going to get into that right now. Welcome back to Food Truck Freaks. We are YouTube's brand new premier food entrepreneur channel dedicated solely to the food truck entrepreneur. We bring you videos, tips, and tricks, and actionable information to get you up and running. So in this podcast, we're definitely going to upload this also to our podcast. We do have a podcast, by the way, and we'll be putting this onto YouTube as well for our YouTube subscribers also. But we wanted to cover a question that we got actually on Marketing Food Online, which is our other food entrepreneur channel. You can see those links down below this video for that. We got nearly 80,000 food entrepreneurs subscribed to that one. If you want to check that one out too, we have tons actually of food truck videos on there too. But we wanted to get into the question of how much does it cost to get a food truck up and running, because it's been a very big question. It's kind of vague in a lot of ways, only because there's so many variables. And there's different permits and licenses in every state, city, and county, varies. So there's really nothing across the board that tells you an exact figure. But we've accumulated a really big list of items here of what you need to know and give you an idea, rough estimates between the high and the low of getting a food truck up and running. So first off, right off the bat, of course, the food truck itself. Now, there's obviously a no-brainer. The big question is, what is your budget? And if you've got great credit and you're looking to get a loan and to start this on a loan type of issue, which I really wouldn't recommend you do. When I started my food business, my Italian bakery, with my wife and I, we actually maxed out our credit cards. We took out our 401k. We did all of that. And it was a learning experience, I guess, to put it mildly. But the reason why I say that is that you have a food truck concept, but you don't have it to be proven yet. You haven't created any revenue. You haven't generated any sales. So you're taking a loan out on a hope or a whim or a possibility that you could be successful. And of course, you obviously want to go into it with the mindset that you're going to succeed, but you need to be kind of grounded in a little bit of reality, and the idea of putting out, nearly 100 grand to start a business like this may not be something you want to do. Now let's get into this really quick here. Number one, the food truck. Now, whether you're getting new or used, you're going to be looking at about $25,000 to $100,000 for a food truck right off the bat. Okay. Next up is your food truck wrap. This is the actual brand. This is the imagery. This is all of the text, the fonts, all of the graphics on the external part, the outside, the exterior of the food truck. Now, you have to get it created first, then you have to get it made, and then I have to get it put onto the truck. By the way, down below, check out the link. We actually have, believe it or not, Fiverr. You can actually hire someone on Fiverr to create food truck wraps now, which is pretty amazing. So check that out, by the way. So food truck wraps are around $3,000 to $4,000. That is including the creation of it, the implementation, the printing of it, and then the application of it. So you have to have a professional put this on and wrap, obviously, your vehicle, because you don't necessarily want to try to do this yourself unless you know what you're doing, because there could be some issues with it coming off. It's not applied on properly. It's going to make your truck look kind of non-professional, to say it mildly. So a food truck wrap is next. Okay, now next, POS system. You got to have a point of sale system set up on your truck. People using debit cards, credit cards, anything that's related to non-cash transactions, you really need a POS. And that POS system can be anywhere from $800 to $1,200. Okay. Next up, something that's overlooked is payroll for your employees. Whether you have 1, 2, or even 3 people and yourself, payroll for, but not just payroll for 3 to 6 months. Okay. Here's why. When I started my Italian bakery, I know that we had basically had family members working there. But we had some part-timers and we would pay them, but you got to be aware that a lot of times you're not generating enough revenue initially and enough profit to pay people who are working for you, no matter what the wages are. I mean, now, of course, minimum wage, you got to meet the federal minimum wage, but some food truck employees make anywhere from $15 to $18 an hour. So you need to have payroll set aside prior to you opening the doors for your food truck. And you got to have about 3 to 6 months. Now, that's saying that hopefully within 6 months, you're going to be profitable, okay? And again, it goes back to how many employees you're going to have and what are their hourly wages? What are you going to set that at? And you're going to determine that, okay? Now, paper products, napkins and plates. So obviously, whatever it is you're serving the food on and the utensils that go with that, you're going to need to put that out. So that could be anywhere from about $300 to $400, okay, just to get started. Next up, you got to have a food truck website. Now, you can build your own very inexpensively on Shopify. You can build a website on Weebly. You can actually build a really simple website too, even on GoDaddy, GoDaddy.com. These are different places that have fantastic drag and drop concept websites, which are very easy. You simply drag an element, create your website. If you're going to get into the food truck business, I would say you're likely intelligent enough to create your website. The reason why I say that is that if you have someone make a website for you, you're looking at another $500 to $1,500 even for a website, okay? Next up, online marketing. So you want to market your food truck online. That could be through Facebook groups. That could be through local Facebook groups, right? That could be through ads on Google. That could be people just basically bringing them to your website, localizing and pinpointing the people in your area, in your community, or even your state. If you want to work all over, like the state of Florida, and you want to go to different counties and cities and open your food truck, you can do that. You can actually pinpoint people and let them know. Say, hey, this weekend I'm going to be at this facility. Hey, this weekend I'm at the Jazz Festival. Hey, this weekend I'm at a wine festival. Check out my food truck. So you can get people and get them aware of where you're going to be, specifically on Facebook. And those marketing things would be ads to be about $200 to $600. Next up, ingredients, startup food. So you need to have obviously a bit of ingredients to create your food products, and you're going to have to do that up front. You have to put that money out in order for you to have ingredients to sell your product. Now that can range, of course, depending upon what you're making, the amount of different ingredients involved, and what those ingredients are, okay? And then where you're sourcing it from, obviously. You want to get it obviously from somebody who's either wholesaling or a local food supplier that gives you in bulk. You don't want to necessarily go to retail stores because they're already marked up. There's a big margin on that, so don't do that. Next up, customization or installation, actually, of equipment. Okay, now you may buy a used food truck, and if that's the route you want to go, that's fine. But now you have to install specific equipment on that unit, or even take out equipment. So that is labor intensive. Now, if you're doing this yourself, well, then that's good for you if you know how to do it. But if you're not, you have to hire somebody. And labor for that type of installation and those types of items within a food truck, because you're really kind of customizing the interior, can be a bit pricey, anywhere from $2,000 to even $8,000. Now, that's just that specific number is being thrown out there because it depends on the equipment. If you're buying brand new ovens, or you've got a food truck that requires a hood above it and a hood, you want to make sure that you've got that installed correctly, so that the oven that you're utilizing is obviously the exhaust is correct, okay? If you're doing electrical work and you've got certain burners or heaters or warming units, you want to make sure they're installed electrically correctly, and you want to make sure that they're installed properly. So it could be a few $1,000s, and you've already started to put more money into a used food truck before you even open it. All right, so next up, creating your LLC. So you need to incorporate your business, but guess what? This is really cool because you could do that above everything and anything. You could do that for free. Yes, you can actually do that for free. Down below, I'll show you there's a link. There's a couple of companies that do this online. They only charge you the state fee for your LLC. So if you're in Florida, the state of Florida charges a fee for your LLC, which they can't get around that. The state has to have it. But the service to create your LLC is absolutely free. That's actually pretty cool. So make sure you take advantage of that because you can save a lot of money specifically doing it that way. Now let's get into the permits, licenses, like registrations and things of that sort, the legalities. Number one, your business license. Based upon your state, that could be anywhere from $75 to about $150. Next up, the vehicle registration. Yes, your vehicle, your food truck, is exactly like any other car or automobile on the road that has to be registered. So vehicle registration, again, could be between $75 to maybe $200 based on the state. Food service permits, those can range between $300 or even $1,000, but those are annual permits. That's for the entire year. Fire safety inspections. Some of those permits, you do have to pay the local fire department to come in and double check to make sure that the food truck is wired correctly, that any potential explosive materials and things of that sort on there, like generators and things, are hooked up correctly, okay? Next up, you've got a food truck license and permit. Now, this is going to vary based upon the county and city, because the thing with food trucks is as you cross over a county or city line, you're going to be paying for that city or county that you're wanting to operate in a business license. So it's actually the food truck license is a permit. My apologies. And that could range per city based upon that is about $250 to $500. Okay, food truck parking and storage. Some states require food trucks to be part of a commissary kitchen or commercial kitchen. And you have to actually put that down when you fill out paperwork with the city or county. Not everywhere does that, but most of them do. And that can run you between the storage and parking between $200 to $1,000 a month. Okay. Next up, if you're going to go to different events like festivals, if you're going to go to food truck rallies, or if you're going to a local concert, or even catering, keep that in mind because you may have to charge a fee to get in, and that could be between $300 or even $800 in some cases. You want to double check with the city and county on that, and then as you approach the event will be the ones who issue that. They're going to say, hey, Damien, you know what, you'll bring your truck in, it's going to be $400 for the weekend. So keep that in mind. And of course that applies when you're first starting, or if you've been doing food truck for 10 or 20 years, it doesn't matter, you still have to pay. And lastly is going to be the insurance coverage. So liability insurance coverage for a food truck, you have to have, of course. There's a handful of different insurances. Of course, if you've got employees, you need workers' compensation and insurance. But the basic coverage for liability is between about $1,500 to, I believe it's around $3,500 or about $3,800. And that normally can be paid either up front in some insurance companies. As a matter of fact, you can check again the link down below in the description section. There's another company there that offers food truck insurance. They do it as well, and you can do it by month. I love that company. It's really, really helpful. We actually use them for our candy and snack business. But yeah, you can get that insurance for anywhere from about $1,500 and up. All right. So between the food truck itself, you got the food truck wrap, the POS. These are really average startup costs for any food truck that's going to get going. And if you're looking, to figure it out, it's going to be something that you need to contact all these different agencies within your county and city to be sure of the amounts. But these are definitely good ideas. It's a good list to get you started and understand really what goes into creating a food truck and getting a food truck started and up and running. So if you have any questions about food trucks, let us know down in the comments section. This is our brand new channel, Food Truck Freaks. Check out our podcast too. We upload tons of podcasts as well. You can listen to us on the go. Really tips and pointers on how to create a successful food truck business. And definitely subscribe. If you know anyone in your family who is wanting to create a food truck business, tell them about our YouTube channel. Of course, we appreciate the help, and give us a big thumbs up. And we'll see you guys in our next video. Thanks for watching Food Truck Freaks. If you are interested in creating your own food truck and you're trying to figure out how to do that, be sure to check out these additional resources and our website. Check out the links in the description for more information on how to create a food truck business, successful food truck business that is, and we'll see you guys on our next video.